When you think of an elephant, you probably think of its immense size, its power, and you're not wrong. They are living monuments, giants who have shaped our world for millions of years. But the real story, the one we're diving into today, isn't just about their size. It's about what goes on inside their mind.
Just imagine a mind that holds a map of ancient waterholes, a memory of family members long since passed, a library of lessons learned over a lifetime that can stretch 70 years or more. And get this, it's a mind that's capable of something incredibly rare in the animal kingdom, an awareness of its own reflection in a mirror, and what seems to be a profound, often silent, understanding of mortality itself. And this, right here, is the heart of our story today. This incredible consciousness, something that's been fine-tuned over millennia, is now facing its greatest threat ever. They are vanishing right in front of us, and the clock is ticking.
Okay, so to really get a handle on what we stand to lose, let's start with their sheer physical presence. I mean, the numbers alone tell a pretty mind-blowing story.
11 tons. Now to put that into perspective for you, that is heavier than 7 family cars all stacked on top of each other. They are, without a doubt, the largest land animals on our planet. And then there's the trunk. I mean, this thing is a marvel of engineering. It's basically a fusion of a nose and an upper lip, and it has over 40,000 individual muscles. It is so sensitive it can pick up a single blade of grass, yet it's powerful enough to rip a tree right out of the ground.
But, out of all these staggering numbers, this one is probably the most important for our story. A brain that weighs around 5 kilograms. This is the engine, the hardware, behind all of the complex thoughts and deep emotions we're about to explore.
So, how did this incredible mind even come to be? Well, to understand that, we need to go way, way back in time. Because the elephants we see today, they're just the last few branches on a truly epic family tree.
So let's rewind 60 million years. Can you believe it? Their ancestors were about the size of a house cat and lived partly in the water. Fast forward a few dozen million years, and the family tree explodes with diversity, giving us giants like the woolly mammoth. But while the last mammoths vanished just a few thousand years ago, that's around the time the Egyptians were building the pyramids. Today, only 3 species of elephant still walk the earth.
And that leaves us with the modern family. And you know what? It's actually really easy to tell them apart once you know the trick. So take a look at the African elephant. The dead giveaway is the ears. They're huge and they're shaped just like the continent of Africa. Now compare that to the Asian elephant. See? Smaller ears, which people often say look kind of like the map of India. These little differences tell a huge story of millions of years of evolving on different continents.
So their physical journey through time is incredible, right? But what's going on inside their heads is honestly even more fascinating. And to explore that, scientists came up with a clever test to ask a really deep question about the elephant's inner world.
The question sounds so simple, but the implications are just profound. Does an elephant understand that the animal it sees staring back at it is itself?
This is how they figure it out. It's called the mirror test, or the mark test, and it's kind of the gold standard for proving self-awareness. At first, an animal might think the reflection is another animal. Then it might get curious, maybe look behind the mirror. But the final, crucial step is when scientists put a mark on the animal's body where they can't see it, and the animal uses the mirror to look at and touch that mark on itself.
So what happened? They passed, with flying colors. In a groundbreaking study back in 2006, an Asian elephant named Happy kept using her trunk to touch an X that was painted on her head while looking right in the mirror. This was it. This was the proof. Elephants officially joined this super exclusive club, along with great apes, dolphins, and us, as one of the only species on Earth known to be self-aware.
And look, this discovery is a total game changer. Because once an animal knows I exist, it opens the door to a really rich and complex emotional world. It means you can start to understand others too.
You can see this so clearly in elephant society. It's built on these incredibly deep family bonds. The whole group is led by a matriarch, and her memory is basically their herd's survival guide. They talk to each other over miles using these deep rumbles we can't even hear. And the entire herd, aunts, sisters, cousins, they all work together to raise and protect the calves. It's a truly collaborative culture.
This social depth is never more obvious or more moving than when they confront death. Researchers describe this profound quiet that just falls over a herd when they find a deceased elephant. They don't just walk by. They stop. They touch. They seem to reflect.
And this isn't a one-off thing. There are countless stories, documented cases, of elephants visiting the bones of their family members years after they've died, gently touching them with their trunks. They've even been seen performing what look for all the world like burials, covering a fallen companion with branches and dirt. It's this powerful, haunting display of what absolutely looks like grief. But this ancient, intelligent, and deeply feeling world is now under attack from a force it never evolved to deal with: us.
Just look at these numbers. They are devastating. In only 13 years, between 1976 and 1989, the African elephant population was cut by more than half, plummeting from over 1.3 million to just over 600,000. An absolutely catastrophic collapse, all driven by the demand for one thing.
Ivory poaching is, of course, a huge part of the problem. But even where that's brought under control, their world is just shrinking. As human populations expand, we're chopping up their habitats, cutting off ancient migration routes, and that leads to these unavoidable and often deadly conflicts over things like land and water.
And this brings us to a really critical point. Their story and our story are now completely tangled up. Their survival from here on out depends entirely on the choices that we make.
And you should know, this isn't just about saving one beautiful animal. Elephants are what's known as a keystone species. Basically, they're the architects of their environment. They're ecosystem engineers. When they dig for water, other animals get to drink. When they clear paths through the forest, they create new places for plants to grow. The health of entire savannas and forests depends on them. If they disappear, the worlds they maintain start to fall apart.
And so we're left with this one heavy question. After a 60 million year journey that created a creature of such incredible power, intelligence, and feeling, are we going to be the ones to write the final chapter in their magnificent story? The choice really is ours.